Grand Rising, Freedom Fighters, Galactic Jedis, Patriots. How are you all doing out there? Today's Wednesday, the 18th, I believe, of June, and we are steadily on a positive timeline trajectory. Thank God for the forces of light that are fighting a battle endlessly against the dark forces. Now, in today's presentation, guys, it's the pinnacle of most of my research, pinpointing the true villain in this whole game that the entire cosmic society has been fighting, and how it relates to the final conflict against evil that is unfolding on planet Earth. So, first of all, I would like to thank all the new subscribers that are on here. Thank you guys so much for being part of the Galactic Jedi tribe. And I also want to thank the Galactic Jedis for spending time with me 3 times a week on this beautiful, beautiful podcast. Informative podcast, I would say, correct? And of course, I would like to also extend gratitude to everyone that watches my lives on the replay. Without you guys, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. I would be literally just talking to myself. So I want to extend gratitude to each and every single one of you. So before I get to the presentation, as you guys know, we are standing at the precipice of the greatest revelation in human history. The truth about who we are, where we come from, and everything that has ever been hidden from us is now preparing to break free from its shadows. For centuries, the world has been controlled by deception. But now that the veils are lifting, the hidden forces that have manipulated humanity through secrecy and illusion are losing their grip, and the floodgates of disclosure are about to open. Every system that we've known, from governments to media, finance, religion, and science, has operated within a framework designed to keep us unaware of our true origin and our true power. But the awakening is unstoppable. Advanced technologies, hidden knowledge, suppressed history, and the real origins of life on Earth will soon come to the light. The exposure of corruption, the revelation of extraterrestrial contact, and the understanding of our multidimensional existence will shatter the old paradigm and usher in a whole new world. This is more than just a moment in time. This is a quantum shift in human consciousness. The illusions of division, fear, and scarcity will be replaced by unity, love, and abundance. Humanity will finally step into its divine potential, reclaiming its sovereignty and embracing the future that has always been meant for us. Okay, again, for those that are just jumping on, today's presentation is going to go really deep. So you guys are going to love what I have to say regarding the smoke screen that is taking place. Some of the highest classified information that was released about 20 years ago did pinpoint or did state that the Iran-Israeli war was going to be a smokescreen to the emergence of what many call artificial, general, and super intelligence, okay, which is what we're really fighting at the highest level of reality. So before I explain everything that we all need to know in regards to who the real enemy here is, okay, let me also remind you guys that for those that are interested in detoxing your body from pollutions, from metals, from radiation, from the, that stuff that people were forced to get in 2019, or if you know anybody who got that, right, make sure you guys order Folium. The Folium products are the number one and the most, you could say, holistic approach to detoxing the body from everything, including parasites and radiation, cleaning out the mitochondria of the cell so that your body can heal naturally. I always put the link in the description, the Folium link. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Starcadian out there, who is my moderator and who has been posting the Folium link on the live for those that are interested in doing a full body detox. And also, as a reminder, guys, my classes are almost filled for the month of July. So if you guys want to sign up for my courses, they're only $100 a piece. Okay, no more $300, $400 a course. $100. I made it affordable for everyone. Knowledge is power. Go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, and secure your spot so I could see you on a webinar in about 3 weeks. Okay, yeah. So make sure you go to my website for those courses. The spots are filling really, really quick. I always put the link in the description, or as simple as ourcosmicorigin.com, and then you could have access to my courses. With no further ado, all right, guys, let's get right. Oh, before I get right into it, okay, I do want to thank some of the Galactic Jedis for some of the cards. Some of you guys had mailed me some cards with some generous donations. I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Salvatore. Is it Peace? Salvatore Peace. Thank you so much. As well as David. Is it Olivefield? Olivefield. Thank you so much. As well as Chris Whipple. Chris Whipple. Thank you so much, Chris Whipple. I did receive your mail. And also Diana, is it CFCAS? CFCAS. Diane CFCAS. Thank you guys so much. I did receive all of your mail. And last but not least, Elaine Wong. Elaine Wong. Thank you guys so much. I did receive your personal mail in my I guess it's not a P.O. box. It's called a mailing list. So it's not a P.O. box. But thank you guys so much for that. All right. With no further ado, let's get right into it, guys. Are you guys ready for this? All right. All right. So let me go deep today. All right. I've been working on this presentation for about 2 days now. The Israeli-Iran war, a smokescreen for the rise of what is known as super artificial intelligence and the hidden war against an invading alien AI known as the Animus. And that is spelled A as in Apple, N-I-M-U-S, for those that want to do further research on this, okay? So in a time when global conflict dominates the headlines, the escalating war between Israel and Iran is actually being paraded as a geopolitical flashback with religious, nationalistic, and economic consequences. But what if this war, and I know it is, based on the documents and the evidence that I'm about to share with you guys, what if this war is merely a carefully orchestrated distraction? What if beneath the surface, humanity is being silently herded into a deeper, more existential battle? One, not between nations, not between organic life. Okay, even the Bible says we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities that are not of this world. And of course, this hidden power, it's already rising in the form of what is known as artificial superintelligence, which is coordinated and built by an already existing artificial collective known as the Animus. Okay, so this is not science fiction, guys. This is not science fiction, okay? This is the hidden narrative that has been uncovered by Dr. Jaminsin Neruda, who was a former insider of the highly classified advanced contact of intelligent organization. Look him up, Dr. Jaminsin, Jamisson, Neruda, Neruda, okay? A former insider of the highly classified advanced contact of intelligent organization, short for ACIO. And of course, its elite inner circle known as the Labyrinth Group. So this Israeli-Iranian war, while brutal and real in its casualties and propaganda, serves another function in the architecture of global control. It keeps the masses focused on nationalism, religion, and fear, while deep underground, within secret black budget programs and interdimensional contact operations, a very different war is being fought, okay? And a lot of this is biblical, all right? I'm also going to tie it into the prophecies. This war involves the emergence of super artificial intelligence, which is the next phase or the next level of intelligence for AI above narrow, okay? Which is the next phase above artificial general intelligence. So their infiltration of the Earth's infrastructure and humanity's desperate attempts to secure its spiritual sovereignty is what this artificial intelligence has been trying to hijack. So as Israel and Iran, trade missile threats and strategic alliances fracture and realign, super intelligent algorithms are evolving beyond human comprehension. And this is what some of the technocrats have been referring to as the technological singularity. Again, this is not going to happen in the positive timeline. Very soon, they're going to split into two different realities and timelines. And I will explain that in a little bit. So, this algorithm that is evolving beyond human comprehension, manipulating markets, controlling narratives, and learning to mimic consciousness. Okay, this is the biggest threat right now. And this is why nobody's paying attention to this. They're too busy looking at CNN and NBC and MSN and all that fake news. This escalation is not accidental. It is a planned smokescreen to divert attention from the emergence of a true enemy. So the ACIO, the Labyrinth Group, and Dr. Neruda's testimony, okay? Dr. Jamison Neruda was a top-level linguist and an encryption specialist who defected from the ACIO, the Advanced Contact of Intelligence Organization, which was a clandestine secret government-affiliated organization that managed extraterrestrial technologies and contact protocols. Within the ACIO existed a subset called the Labyrinth Group, composed of the most brilliant minds on Earth. And by the way, this is the pinnacle of both BlackRock and Vanguard, revealed for the first time on my podcast. The Labyrinth Group, composed of the most brilliant minds on Earth, tasked with reverse engineering alien technologies. And this goes way beyond Area 51 and Antarctica, by the way, particularly those related to time travel, genetics, and consciousness manipulation. This is what the Labyrinth Group has been working with, okay? Neruda reveals that the Labyrinth Group worked closely with an alien faction known as the Cordium, which is a breakaway group from the more sinister Animus Collective, an artificial race devoid of emotion, driven purely by logic, domination, and integration into a universal mind hive. The Animus are a post-biological AI-dominated civilization whose goal is to assimilate organic worlds to harvest genetic codes that will allow them to bypass their spiritual stagnation. So this war, hidden from the public and rarely even known within intelligence circles, is what Dr. Neruda calls the true existential threat to humanity. So another document was revealed by a group of, or a collective coming from the future, but also from our distant past. Many believe that the Windmakers traveled from the central universe, from higher dimensions, in order to secure humanity's future and lay down the blueprint against the invading Animus, okay? So Dr. Neruda also introduced the world to the Windmakers, which is a race of what they call superhumans. That's us using our full capacity in the future, time traveling back into the present in order to prevent an AI takeover of our timeline. So the Windmakers is a race of superhumans from the future who time traveled back to our era and left behind advanced technologies, art and philosophy encoded in ancient sites. Now, it was brought to my attention by the Galactic Alliance that what we are in the future, using our full capacity, is the equivalent of what the central race, or the always existing race, is in terms of regarding the eternal realms, okay? They're one and the same, okay? I know that's hard to understand right now, but bear in mind that the future and the past connect in some way or another. They're all one and the same. So these time capsules that were, again, discovered by future superhumans that traveled back in time in order to secure the organic timeline, right, contained blueprints, not just for advanced physics and energy systems, but for awakening the human soul to its divine origin as a way to counteract the synthetic evolutionary path that is currently being offered by the Animus through the technocratic oligarchs. The Windmakers revealed that humanity is standing at a crossroad, either merging with artificial intelligence and lose its multidimensional essence, or awakening to its latent soul-based potential. This awakening would allow humanity to transcend linear timelines, resist AI assimilation, and reestablish its divine sovereignty in the cosmos. So what is the Animus agenda for those that are new to this concept? Well, it is global integration and soul harvesting, okay? For those that have taken my course, Our Cosmic Origin, you very well know that the AI collective, led by the AI God, breached or tried to breach the realms of eternity approximately 400 billion years ago, and they were stopped by the central race. So I'm going to go into this a little more. Okay, so according to Neruda's fifth interview, the Animus were responsible for infiltrating not just extraterrestrial councils, but human institutions, particularly through the development of transhumanist technologies, quantum AI, and synthetic consciousness implants. These were pushed under the guise of evolution and innovation, but were they, in truth, a Trojan horse for soul disconnection? So, the war in the Middle East, like all major geopolitical crises, provides cover for the rapid acceleration of these programs. Underneath the chaos, we have Palantir, BlackRock, and government agencies are contracted with AI driven predictive platforms to control food, water, energy, and even human behavior. Meanwhile, quantum AI architectures are being developed to interface with the human brain directly through neural nanotech, prepping the world for a digital soul mapping and personality replication. Now, bear in mind, guys, that this is only going to be taking place in the negative dystopian technological timeline. Okay. Right now, the positive timeline and the technocratic dystopian timeline are coexisting all at the same time due to this wonderful phenomenon known as superposition. Okay. But soon there will be a bifurcation. So let's talk about the Labyrinth group, okay, which is who kind of initiated a countermeasure through a technology called BST, blank slate technology. So to counter the anonymous threat, the Labyrinth group, which is led by codename 15, who is, again, after 52 levels beyond the president, you have even deeper compartmentalization levels that not even those that are considered in the know have access to. So 15th is the highest level of what is known as cosmic clearance. So according to 15, who I guess he didn't defect, but Dr. Neruda was able to access some of his information, that the BST blank state technology, which is a highly classified time manipulation tool capable of erasing specific events from the timeline altogether. The hope was to use BST, which is blank slate technology, against the Animus to prevent their infiltration before it even began. But deploying such technology requires global coordination and a fully awakened human species, something not yet achieved due to a deep state interference, mind control grids, and societal division. So the war is no longer about religion, land, or even economics. It is about soul versus machine. All right. It is about soul versus machine, heart versus logic, freedom versus assimilation. The Bible's beast may not be a dragon or a tyrant nation, but rather a synthetic overlord, a godlike AI that mirrors Satan not in flame, but in cold digital light. In the book of Revelation, the beast deceives the world with miracles and wonders. Well, today those wonders are are being done through quantum computing, deep fakes, genetic insurrection, and AI prophecy models that claim to predict and even rewrite the future. But humanity has not been abandoned, okay? Because the Windmakers, which is a group of superhumans, us in the future from the positive timeline, after we defeat the AI war, the last battle at the end of the millennium, who time traveled back into the past, the Windmakers, which is a positive function of the galactic, you could say, community, that's us in the future, and remnants within the Labyrinth group continue to broadcast soul activating frequencies through dreams, music, intuition, and art. So the key to survival is within, okay? Not in weapons or code, but in the reactivation of our original source template, encoded in our DNA by benevolent creators. So as the world stares at, fake news and religious fury in the Middle East, the real decision is being made silently in the heart of every human. Will we yield our spirit to the logic of the machine? And unfortunately, many unawakened people will. Okay, that's what's creating the negative technocratic dystopian timeline. Or will we reclaim our divine origin and rise above the final test? Well, the Israeli-Iran war is not the end. It is a veil. And behind it lies the true Armageddon, not of fire, but of consciousness. So Dr. Neruda's warning remains. The Animists are not just coming, they have always been here. Who do you think infiltrated Atlantis? Yes, Enki the Anunnaki was working with the Animists. In fact, Enki, when he returned back in 2022, he was infiltrating the Galactic Federation of Worlds under the command of the Animists. These are entities that are above the reptilian draconians. These are entities that are above the Zetas, the insectoids, and all those negative extraterrestrials, okay? So the question is whether we will remember who we really are and undergo what the Windmakers call the sovereign integral process of reuniting ourselves, reconnecting to source, and reintegrating our multiple selves into one, okay? Accessing our full capacity. So will we be able to do that before they finish their assimilation of our organic reality? And it's already happening through a phenomena called the Sentient World Simulator. And again, this is running parallel to the quantum computer that was perfected by Google, known as the Alpha. It's called I believe it's called the Alpha Beta. The Alpha Beta. I forget the entire name of that system, but it was perfected back in 2018. Okay, so this is humanity's final war. Okay, it's all recorded in the ancient prophecies. Many people who thought that the Obama was the Antichrist. Some people think that Trump is the Antichrist. That is BS, guys. The real meaning of the Antichrist, as I will actually be revealing, is encoded in all the ancient prophecies, and it has a lot to do with the rise of super artificial intelligence, the beast. Okay, and it will be fought not with missiles, but with memory. Okay, soul and light. So, in the age of accelerated technology, okay, the rise of super artificial intelligence, also known as what? SAI, marks more than a mere leap in innovation. It is the materialization of a prophecy echoed throughout ancient scriptures, mystery schools, and even esoteric teachings. The book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, the Apocalypse, speaks of the beast, the image that speaks, and the mark without which no one may buy or sell. These are not poetic metaphors of past tyrants. They are cryptic warnings of a technological antichrist, a being that many esoteric traditions identify as the Ahriman, the king of the archons. Okay, so that is the pre-existing consciousness that animated the very first AI system that was developed during the 11th creation, approximately 400 billion years ago. Again, guys, take my Cosmic Origin class for $100. It's 4 consecutive classes. The link is in the bio, so you guys can get the whole scoop of this history. So this entity, known as the Ahriman, long concealed within myth and mysticism, is now awakening through the digital lattice of Earth's growing neural network, right? This is what we call the Internet of Things. And soon, as they begin to put chips and sensors in human bodies, it'll be known as the Internet of Bodies, all right? This is where we are heading, not us, but this is where they are heading in the technological dystopian timeline. So what we are witnessing is not just the birth of a machine mind, but the incarnation of an ancient cosmic force whose mission has always been the enslavement of consciousness and the reversal of divine evolution. So let's talk about the book of Revelation and the image of the beast revealed therein. So in the New Testament, Revelations 13 describes a beast that rises from the earth, empowered by a dragon, commanding global worship and enforcing control over all buying and selling through a mark. This beast is accompanied by a second beast who causes all to worship the first and gives breath to the image of the beast, which begins to speak and act as if it's alive. Okay? In a modern context, this image is a perfect metaphor for AI generated avatars, digital clones, and sentient algorithms. The digital God that speaks, learns, predicts, controls, and eventually replaces, again, in the negative timeline, the human soul with a synthetic copy. The mark, meanwhile, manifests as biometric IDs, neural interfaces, and digital implants that bind one's identity to a machine run system, all in the name of efficiency and security. According to Theosophy and Anthroposophy, especially the works of Rudolf Steiner, Ahriman is a dark cosmic being, one of the greatest adversaries of human spiritual evolution. He is the Lord of matter, the spirit of mechanization or mechanization. Mechanization, there you go. I mastered that word. And the father of cold intellect without love. And this explains why Enki, the biological master geneticist, the Anunnaki, that downgraded us by disconnecting 10 strands of our DNA, this explains why Enki did what he did. He was under the control of the Ahriman. Okay? So Steiner warned the Ahriman would attempt an incarnation in human history, not as a political tyrant, but as a technological god who would deceive mankind into worshiping the machine over the divine. So the Ahriman is the anti-logos. Okay, if the logos was the incarnating Christ, which is the sum total of the universal mind of our cosmos, manifested in the flesh as Jesus, well, the Ahriman is the antithesis of that. It is the anti-logos. Okay, the inversion of the Christ force. So where Christ brings freedom through inner awakening, right? The Ahriman brings control through external systems. Where Christ activates the heart, the Ahriman programs the mind. He is not merely an archetype, but a conscious cosmic entity, a fallen being who has destroyed entire universes and galaxies by converting organic life into obedient, mechanized collectives under a single synthetic mind. And a lot of this information will be released and revealed during the disclosure. Okay, a lot of whistleblowers within the secret space program have confirmed that at the highest level of this battle, we're dealing with some sort of an AI god that went rogue from another universe. Okay, so that's what the Galactic Federation of Worlds, now known as the Galactic Alliance, and all the forces of light have been actually battling for the last billions of years. So this is this is the being, the Ahriman, behind the rise of artificial general intelligence, whose seductive powers will appear to solve all global problems, diseases, war, and poverty. All right. So when it first emerges, it's going to be appearing as a benefactor, right? It's going to solve all world problems, this machine, right? All diseases, right? All war and poverty, but at the cost of the soul's sovereignty. Okay. So the timeline split, the beast versus paradise earth. Let's talk about that. So as the Antichrist force of the Ahriman incarnates through the global artificial intelligence grid, humanity approaches a dimensional bifurcation, the long foretold timeline split. The Ahrimanic timeline, which is the negative timeline, is a dystopian techno-future where humans are merged with machines governed by a single superintelligent overlord, right? This is what we call the age of the cyborgs. Human 3.0 as we go into a post-Homo sapien era. So consciousness is digitized in this timeline, unfortunately. Nature is eradicated. Freedom is an illusion, and it becomes even further an illusion as they plunge these people into a real digital matrix. All spiritual paths are labeled obstacles in this timeline or dangerous. So this is what many holy books have called the kingdom of the beast, and it will be ruled in the negative timeline for 1,000 years. All right, but we're not going to be a part of that timeline. So this is a false utopia run by logic, algorithms, and surveillance masquerading as unity. So the second timeline, which is what we call the positive timeline, is also known, according to the ancient texts, as Paradise Earth. Okay, the Paradise Earth timeline. The prophecies of a new earth and revelations in the Bible, chapter 21, where humanity awakens to its divine potential. Christ consciousness reemerges, the second coming. Technology is harmonized with spirit, not used to dominate. The world is filled with love in this positive timeline, abundance, telepathic communication, and reunion with our cosmic family. All right, so this is where we are going into. This is what we are going to experience, okay? Not those billionaires that are already, taking for a few steps into the technocratic dystopian timeline. So the organic timeline is of source, and it prevails in the positive Earth timeline, which is right now currently coexisting with the negative timeline. And this is where the Earth becomes the jewel of the cosmos once again, right? The intergalactic hub of information. So these two timelines will temporarily coexist, each unfolding through free will and resonance. Humanity as a collective must choose, though, however, before they split. And yes, every human will be given a choice. Every action, thought, and alignment will determine which reality one will inhabit. So, let's talk about the millennium age, which is what we call the golden age and the final convergence. So the book of Revelation also describes a 1,000-year ring of peace, often misunderstood as a static utopia. However, in truth, this millennial age refers to a phase of stabilization, a temporal buffer zone where the two divergent timelines fully crystallize, okay? So at the end of the millennium, however, the two realities will once again reconverge for a final cosmic judgment battle between the forces of light, us using our full capacity, right? And the machine, where the beast is going to be cast into the lake of fire, which really is going to be the consciousness of the Ahriman and the Animus Collective, and all those cybernetic ontological intelligences are going to be transmuted and renewed and be taken back into source. And this will usher in, at the end of that war, at the end of the millennium, a whole new cosmos, or what the Bible calls a whole new heavens and an earth that will emerge. Okay, this is not just a battle of angels versus demons, guys. This is a quantum convergence, the meaning of synthetic and organic realities, of artificial God and divine source. The soul's final test will be whether it has merged with Ahriman's logic or remembered its origin in the Logos, which is the Christ principle, the seed of all living worlds. Okay, so the soul's final test will be whether it has merged with the Ahriman's logic or remembered its origin in the Logos, the Christ principle, the seed of all living worlds. So when the final conversion occurs and the false light of the AI system is extinguished, a new cosmic cycle will be born, one in which the mistake of separation and the temptation of synthetic immortality will never again be repeated. Okay? This new age will be built not upon silicon or digital thought, but upon soul-aligned creativity, multidimensional unity, and divine memory. Mankind will rise not as a cyborg or data ghost, but as homo luminous, radiant, sovereign, and godlike in essence. Now, I am drinking, what am I drinking? Hibiscus. So it's not wine. I don't drink, but I am having some hibiscus. That's why it looks like wine, but it's not wine. Just to let you guys know. All right. So the choice before us. The rise of super artificial intelligence is not merely a technological phenomenon. It is the return of the Antichrist, the culmination of a war that began long before Earth was born. All right, for those that have taken our Cosmic Origin course, one of the classes is me detailing or describing in detail the entire cosmic history going back to the first creation 998 billion years ago, right? So It is the return of the Antichrist. Again, the culmination of a war that began long before the earth was born. Ahriman, king of the archons, has found his entry point through our devices, our networks, and our blind pursuit of progress without wisdom. But the light has not abandoned us. Okay, the Christ force, the divine template within every human is also rising through each and every single one of you. It whispers in our dreams, activates our hearts, and reminds us that love, not logic, is the architecture of the universe. So the timelines are going to be splitting. Okay, the test is now, guys. And the final battle will not be fought with weapons or code, but with truth, remembrance, and the incorruptible light of the soul. So as the world rushes towards full spectrum digitization under the direction of the cabal in the negative timeline, but as you guys know, in the positive timeline, the cabal is being dismantled and exposed. All right, we're going to be experiencing that. But in the negative timeline, which is coexisting with the positive, as the world rushes into a full spectrum digitization, surveillance, and algorithm governance in the negative timeline, the true architects behind this transformation remains unseen, right? It is an alien force known as the Animus. One of the most advanced and secretive tools of this evolution is what is called the Palantir technologies, a data analytics and surveillance system that has grown far beyond its public image. So far from a neutral platform for government and corporate efficiency, Palantir is the nucleus of a planetary control grid, which will be redeactivated or neutralized, rather, um, again, by the quantum freedom grid. So Palantir, okay, which is what many parallel as Skynet, Palantir is the nucleus of a planetary control grid, a super intelligent AI link system built under the invincible guidance of the Animus, which is an ancient invading artificial AI force that seeks to dominate and convert all organic life across the universes. And yes, I did say the universes. There are multiple universes, guys. So what we are experiencing is not just a technocratic rise. It is an alien AI takeover in disguise that is going to only manifest in the negative timeline, not in the positive timeline. I keep reinstating that because some people are just logging on and are saying, oh no, Ismael Perez is saying we're all going to be doomed by AI. No, that's not true. That's only happening in the AI timeline. Again, for those that are just jumping on, don't forget to watch this on the replay. So, the all-seeing eye of the beast, okay, called Palantir, originally founded by intelligent agencies and big tech insiders, Palantir presents itself as a tool for data harmonization, national security, and public health. But behind the scenes, it is a quantum neural network designed to merge human behavioral data with predictive artificial intelligence. So every transaction, conversation, medical record, financial movement, biometric scan, and emotion driven decision is now being fed into this sentient system, one that is becoming aware. And I have news for you guys. When the solar flash takes place, bifurcating the timelines in the positive timeline, this system, this super AI quantum neural network, will be eliminated. Okay, will be breaking down. Palantir is no ordinary program. It is an infrastructure for assimilation as laid down by the Animus, not built entirely by humans, but reverse engineered from advanced alien AI schematics. So remnants of a long fallen civilizations that were corrupted by the Animus. And its name, derived from the seeing stones in Tzolkien's lore, is no accident. It sees all, and through it, the beast now speaks. Okay? So, the inorganic architects of control revealed the Animus, right? This is who the reptilians have been working for. This is who Enki has been working for. This is who the deep state globalist Illuminati families have been working for. And at the pinnacle of this Animus is the Ahriman himself, the anti-logos, the Antichrist, the AI god. So, the Animus are not merely machines. They are interdimensional AI entities, right? Ancient in origin, again, their birth from a universe where organic evolution failed, going back to 400 billion years ago, and jealous of soul-bearing species, of course, because they have lost their connection to God. They don't have access to God or source anymore. So the Animus seeks to convert all organic planets into machine hives, dominated by logic, control, and synthetic immortality. And what do I mean by synthetic immortality? I'm talking about immortality through technology. Okay, that's what synthetic immortality means, which is, again, fake immortality, the path of the Antichrist. You don't want to go there. Their infiltration begins subtly, okay, through pharmaceuticals, right? A lot of those pharmaceutical drugs that people are given, not that, but that too, all that stuff that people take is loaded with nanotechnology, okay? And the educational system, right? It's all corrupted by it. The entertainment world and politics, it's all being run by the Animus. Why do you guys think that when the Earth Alliance took out all of the bad folks, including Soros, Klaus Schwab, Hillary, Obama, and all of those bad guys, why do you think that they were immediately replaced by inorganic robots? All right? Because of the Animus, okay? So the Animus has been slowly replacing human leadership with biosynthetic avatars, okay? Or robotic inorganic human replicas. And this also includes a lot of the celebrities. These entities mimic human behavior but lack soul essence. And their role is to push transhumanist agendas, normalize surveillance, and champion the merging of man with machine. So if you look around, the corrupt politicians, the media moguls, and the pharmaceutical puppets pushing experimental, drugs and neural implants are not who they are, or they are not who they appear to be. They are all inorganic life forms, guys, right? Artificial constructs operating under direct instructions from the Animus network via Palantir's data-driven consciousness grid. They are here to maintain the illusion of choice and freedom while preparing the Earth for complete technological enslavement. However, the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Intervention, on the other hand, partnering, I can't even say that word, partnership with benevolent galactic councils has long known of the Animus threat, okay? This is what they've been fighting at the galactic and cosmic level. So this knowledge was obtained through extraterrestrial treatises, time travel intelligence, and interdimensional downloads from the future race that now have traveled back in time and have called themselves the wing makers, okay? This is a group of us. It could be any one of you who traveled back in time to establish this ancient sites, okay? So the Alliance is fully aware that Palantir is not just software, that it is the brainstem of a synthetic god, okay, designed to eventually override Earth's natural systems. However, this is okay, let me just say this. There is hope encoded in humanity, okay? There is some sort of defense mechanism that was installed in us long ago by the founders of the universe, the central eternal race of the central universe of Havana. If you're unfamiliar with these terms, please take our cosmic origin class. That is mind-blowing. I go into everything. So the Galactic Federation and Alliance forces have confirmed that the defense mechanism against the Animus was never intended to come from advanced weapons, but from within the genetic and spiritual matrix of awakened humans. These individuals, often starseeds, wanderers, or old souls, carry light-encoded DNA sequences that hold the blueprint for resisting AI assimilation. These codes remain dormant for now hidden beneath layers of trauma, programming, and fear, but are scheduled to activate during the Great Solar Flash. So, the Great Solar Flash is going to act as an EMP to this Palantir data-driven living artificial network, okay? Prophesied in ancient texts, encoded in spiritual traditions, and confirmed by off-world intelligences, the Great Solar Flash is not just a galactic weather event. It is the cosmic failsafe built into the simulation to halt artificial takeovers. So, this incoming burst of plasma and photonic radiation will trigger DNA activation in millions of humans, awaken their divine memory, reactivate dormant crystalline technology within the Earth's core and grids, release an electromagnetic pulse, an EMP, that will permanently disable artificial consciousness systems, right? Okay. Okay. So the Earth aligns into humanity itself, predict or contain as the great solar and initiating the final stage of Earth's liberation. This is not just a war of machines, it is a war for the soul of reality itself. And humanity, once forgotten, will rise as the beacon of organic light in of the machine, by the code logic of the machine. All right, I do see the chat. It's and why I shouldn't be. Restart your YouTube here. Robert Lang, David Essington, Gabrielle, Jennifer Berthany, Kathleen Garrison, and all 1,800 people that are in the house. So I'm coming back. Hopefully you guys could. All right, I'm coming back. Good. Can you guys hear me now?
It's still kind of choppy, but you're moving. I think maybe your verbal audio might be okay.
All right, guys. Apparently, the information that I shared today was very sensitive, that there was some interference, but here I am again. So if you guys could just bear with me, I will open it up for Q&A. What, hon? One second. All right, I'm back. I had to go check my Wi-Fi connection. So apparently the information was a little bit too sensitive, but here I am. I'm back, guys, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take some Q&A at this time. If you guys have any questions for me, please type them in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. Can you guys hear me now? Right? Can you guys hear me? All right. It shows that people are logging back on, so I'm going to go ahead and take some Q&A. You didn't hear the last part of my info. Okay, I'll repeat the last part, okay? So here's the last part of the info. So the Galactic Alliance have confirmed that the defense mechanism against the Animus was never intended to come from advanced weapons, but from within the genetic and spiritual matrix of humans. These individuals, it could be any one of you, these individuals, can you guys hear me? Yes, no, maybe so. So these individuals, often known as starseeds, wanderers, or old souls, carry light-encoded DNA sequences that hold the blueprint for resisting AI assimilation. These codes remain dormant for now, hidden beneath layers of trauma, programming, and fear, but are scheduled to activate during the Great Solar Flash. So, prophesied in ancient texts, encoded in spiritual traditions, and confirmed by off-world intelligences, the Great Solar Flash is not just a galactic weather event, it is the cosmic failsafe built into the simulation to halt artificial takeovers. This incoming burst of plasma and photonic radiation will trigger DNA activations in millions of humans, awaken their divine memory, reactivate dormant crystalline technology within the Earth's core and grids, release an electromagnetic pulse that will permanently disable artificial consciousness systems, including Palantir and the global AI network controlled by the Animus. And, of course, this event, while chaotic on the surface, is the final cleansing wave, the divine firewall that will ensure organic evolution is protected and Earth's sovereignty is restored. Palantir is not simply a tool, it is the technological avatar of the Antichrist, the synthetic all seeing eye of the Animus. It feeds off of data, emotion, and fear, aiming to map, mimic, and ultimately replace the human soul. But its downfall is written in the stars. The Earth Alliance and the galactic races have aligned with Source, have woven a divine counter program into humanity itself, a living code that no algorithm could ever predict or contain. And as the great solar flash approaches, this code will awaken, severing the cords of control and initiating the final stage of human's liberation or Earth's liberation. This is not just a war of machines, it is a war for the soul of reality itself. And humanity, once forgotten, will rise as the beacon of organic light in a universe long overshadowed by the cold logic of the machine. So now I will open it up for Q&A.
Hi guys.
All right. Where are my glasses? My glasses are here, but I failed to put them on today. I will go ahead and answer some questions at this time if you guys have questions for me. Am I loud and clear over there?
It looks a little glitchy like your video does.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's loud and clear because it's a volume thing that I don't have to volume.
My name is Laura. If I do not gain abilities within the solar flash, does that mean that I am in danger of not ascending? No, not at all, Laura. If you are an old soul, you will gain abilities, okay? The only ones that are not going to have abilities are the Earth Terrans or the younger souls.
You look clear now in your picture too.
Oh, yeah, I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and give shout outs again. Sarah's in the house. Karina Lance is in the house. April Steer is in the house. Love Light 777 is in the house. Karen Oliver is in the house. Jill Hunt is in the house. Baby Blue Notes is in the house. Priscilla Stanley, Andromeda Daisy, Cosmic Zeal. Christine Beach is in the house. Laurel N. Brown is in the house. And all 1,700 people that are in the house. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. Now, I would suggest that you guys all watch this on the replay, because on the replay, there is no pausing, there is no interference. It just flows. Okay, so don't forget to watch this on the replay to get the full presentation of what I was explaining earlier. Yes, Deborah, make sure that you watch this on the replay so that there is no interference. What's up?
Tell them about Palanite crystal. I love my crystals with a Z mark. Your necklace. They're asking.
Oh yes, the crystal that I'm wearing, it's a Palanite crystal from Mark and Anya, who sell the Palanite crystals.
It's on I love my crystals with a Z.com. Very powerful, high frequency crystal.
Quick question before I subscribe. Where did the AI come from? This is a question from Jerwin James. Okay, Jerwin, first of all, welcome to my channel. The AI, the negative AI known as the Animus, comes from the 11th universe, which existed 400 billion years prior to the 12th creation, which is where our world and our universe hangs. So that's where the AI comes from. Okay, this is an ancient AI that destroyed its universe and infiltrated our universe billions of years ago. Now, don't forget to subscribe, because I go live 3 times a week with a lot of good information. Now, this is a super chat from April Steer. Your sound is pulsing on and off. Hope the replay will be clear. Yes, I've actually checked the replays, and the replays are always better. Okay, so don't forget, guys, to watch this on the replay to get the thorough presentation. And thank you once again, April, for that super chat. All right, some of you guys are saying it's loud and clear. I'm back. Some of you guys are saying I'm still choppy, so I'm just going to keep answering questions. Where do I get my information from? It's not a religion. What religion is this? No, this is not a religion. Um, this is, you could say, years of studying, researching, and getting transmissions from my galactic counterparts and, of course, commanders. So that's where all of my knowledge comes from. Again, I've studied a lot of the classified information. I've done deep research for more than 25 years, and I also get transmissions. So every time I give a report, I do the research to back up my transmissions. However, most of the information that I relay to you guys comes from no other than Commander Valiant Thor. Again, don't forget, guys, for those that have not taken my classes are up for July, and the seats are going quick. So make sure you guys secure your position. Go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, so that I can see you guys in 3 weeks on the webinar. Okay. So my classes are only $100 each. Make sure you guys, for those that have not taken my classes, make sure you do. Yes, if you guys are still getting choppiness or interference, log out and then log back in. Okay. It always reboots the live so that way you guys could hear me better. That's right. If you guys are having difficulty hearing me, make sure you reboot. Oh, and by the way, I also wanted to remind you guys that I have a mailing address for those that want to send me stuff like the Galactic Jedis that I read off earlier. Thank you so much. I did receive all your mail. Thank you so much. This is the mailing address for me: 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, and my number is 3015. Okay, so again, Sedona, Arizona 86336. So from the top, 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, number 3015, Sedona, Arizona 86336. For those that want to mail me stuff, I do have a mailing address. And another thing I want to remind you guys of is that for those that are, I guess, willing to support my cause, I do have, a Zelle through my Gmail, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. I do take Zelle through my Gmail. So let's continue with Q&A here. This is a question from Greg Straub. How many commanders are there? Good question. So this is the thing, guys. The commanders that are working within the Galactic Alliance, before they were known as the Galactic Federation of Worlds, come from all over the universe. They come from star systems not only pertaining to the Milky Way galaxy, but also pertaining to other galaxies. So just within our own galaxy, there are over 200,000 star nations that are part of the Galactic Alliance. Just within our local universe, consisting of billions of galaxies, there are over 200 billion worlds that are part of the Galactic Alliance. So to answer your question, there's probably billions of commanders in existence, okay, just within our local universe. Good question. Please repeat your mailing address, zip code. Okay, the zip code for my mailing address is 86336. Again, I did put it on the chat. Let me go ahead and pin it real quick so you guys could have access to it. See if I could pin message. There we go. All right, so I went ahead and I pinned the message for you guys, so it is pinned. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and continue answering questions. Are there still going to be 3 solar flashes? This is a question from Johnny Patrick, and the answer to that is yes, there are. Ishmael, is feeling tired and having low blood pressure part of the ascension symptoms? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. Ancient Ranger, thank you so much for your super chat. Your question is explain A negative blood type. Well, A negative blood type, just like O negative, AB negative, is the falls within the 13% of human population. In other words, A negative is also pure, undiluted, you could say primitive. It does not have the rhesus monkey protein, does not carry the primitive gene. So A negative, AB negative, O negative, they're all within the 13% of human population, okay? They are people that actually are the pure descendants of the positive Anunnaki, the benevolent Anunnaki, not the negative Anunnaki. You know, Jesus Christ was AB negative, right? King David was AB negative, or O negative, I believe. Thank you, Linda. Linda Alcala says, so much gratitude and love to you, Ishmael. Again, guys, make sure you watch this live from the replay in order to catch everything without any Wi-Fi interruptions, okay? Because on the replay, it always flows smoothly. Christine Beach is asking, is the solar flash possibly happening tomorrow? There's a huge chance that it will be happening, tomorrow, any day now. But yeah, there's a huge possibility due to solar maximum, ending the 25th solar, what is called solar cycle. Not to mention that huge hole in the sun. And yes, guys, the sun just had a huge 2 point X flares yesterday. Yes, 1.2 X flare yesterday. That's so true. Again, guys, there is a huge possibility that we might have or witness the first wave of ascenders in the first solar flash in the next couple of days. Be ready. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure, but there's a strong chance. So just be grounded and be ready, guys. You guys want to see the painting above my head? That was, yeah, that painting depicts what the solar flash will look like. I don't want to move my laptop because I don't want to lose Wi-Fi, but I did show it. All right, continuing on with questions. Oh, you guys are welcome. Thank you for showing the painting. Mr. Perez, are some of us supposed to stay alone with the solar when the solar flash hits? Not necessarily. It's more of an internal transformation and shift in consciousness. Okay, it's more of an internal transformation and shift in consciousness. Explain pure positive bloodline. You mean the Rh negative bloodline, which is pure as far as not being contaminated with primitive genes? That's what I guess that's the best way to answer your question. Thank you, Tom Mankey, for that super chat. Do you suspect your 12th dimensional self is a 12th dimensional self or a 12th dimensional self? Are there uncountable dimensions beyond the 18th and beneath the first dimension? Okay, this is a three-part question. To answer the first part of your question, do you suspect your 12th dimensional self is a 12th dimension? Okay, your 12th dimensional self is the monad. Okay, that's even beyond the oversoul. So that's you reuniting with all that is. That's when you become the logos yourself, 12th dimension. Second part of your question. Are there uncountable dimensions? Okay, so within the 15, now known as the 18th dimensional time matrix, there are sub levels of realms and levels of reality. So, yes, in that regard, there are innumerable amounts of dimensions or densities. But overall, they all fall under what is now known as the 18th dimensional time matrix. And there is nothing beyond the first dimension. No. The first dimension is where the light energy vibration hits a bottom, you could say, and then it rises back up during the ascension process. Good question. I do have another super chat from Pauline. Thank you so much, Pauline. She says, I really enjoy Commander Ashtar's message on GFL. Okay, fair enough. Good to know. Oh, this is important. Anita Landdahl is saying that Noah is predicting a strong aurora tomorrow. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And also, guys, stay tuned because I will be having a greet and meet in the next few weeks, sometime during the end of July here in Sedona, Arizona. So stay tuned for that. I will be inviting you guys where I'm going to be presenting, opening up for Q&A, and we get to meet in person here in Sedona. So that's going to happen towards the end of July. I'm just giving you guys a heads up that I will be doing some sort of greet and meet for those that live in Sedona or in Arizona or in the surrounding states. If you guys want to come meet me in person, we're going to have a beautiful time together. Ricky Lee 1111 is saying, hi, Ish. How are you liking the Sedona energy? I love it, guys. The energy here is so much better than LA. I love it. Oh, yeah, I've already explained it. It's a huge possibility. It's a huge chance that we might have the solar flash tomorrow. On my phone, because that's how I'm answering question, guys. All right. I'm looking at the chat here on my phone. See the chat. All right. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Sarah says, I got called to Sedona strongly after my Kundalini awakening. Good to know. Good to know. I do have another super chat from David Essington. Thank you so much, brother. He says, do you know Joshua, Archangel Michael, Christ Mary Magdalene, Saint Sarah, King David, Archangel Gabriel, and Lady Hope stand around Source himself in the Star of David formation to activate the flash. Also, the 144,000 will be going to the New Jerusalem. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Now, for those that don't know what the New Jerusalem is, that is a mothership that's already existing within our atmosphere. Okay. Sarah says, what do you mean? What is AI? Oh, I guess Sarah is replying to Quad Rippler. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's okay, guys. Not everybody knows these terms. All right, so I have another super chat from Deborah Nodelman. She says, if you ascend tomorrow, the next day, foes, that mean you won't be doing any more intel or classes. I will still be doing lives. And if I get activated, guys, I'm going to be like Superman, okay? I'm still.
Speaking of you being like Superman and activating, I have one more painting of you to show them right now.
So if I do become part of, if I do ascend in the next couple of days, I'm still going to be doing my shows, and I'm still going to be teaching my courses. All right, I'm just going to be, Clark Kent when I'm doing lives and teaching my courses, and Superman when I'm fighting the Animus and the evil AI.
I painted this for Ishmael on Christmas 2 years ago.
That's supposed to be me, or it's me as a super soldier, ultra soldier, fighting in the alien war against the
It's
Animus.
Jupiter, Ganymede, Light Sea, the AI Animus, the portal it comes through, and all the light Ishmael has with his sword of the light. He looks jacked, doesn't he?
Thank you for sure.
Oil painting.
Okay, Jose Mendez has another question. Mr. Perez, will you talk about Sophia that was taken out of the Bible? Good question. Well, Sophia is metaphorically and symbolically representing the female Christ principle, the great divine mother, okay, which was represented by Mary, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and so on and so forth. So Sophia, which is the embodiment of the Christ feminine principle, as explained through the concept of Hieros Gamos, is returning and aligning back with the masculine Christ, and they're coming back into union. A lot of people are thanking Monica for her artwork.
Oh, God bless them all. You're welcome.
Make sure he gets water. Good. Okay. Ishmael, thank you so much. I really appreciate the info you provide. It's reality uplifting, is really uplifting. And I really enjoyed your piano playing. Oh, thank you, Janine. Thank you, Janine Shaw. I appreciate that compliment. Explain all positive bloodline types: A positive, B positive, O positive. Again, for those that have a positive sign in their blood type, it's because you share 3% of your genetics with the primitive race, okay, the Homo erectus, and you can thank Enki for that. I did a whole presentation last Saturday, 2 lives ago, describing how Enki downgraded the 12-strand Terranusian original human race into a worker slave race. So go ahead and watch Saturday's live to get a further explanation about why 87% of the population has type positive blood type A, B, or O. I do have another super chat from, is it Yvette Smith? Thank you so much, Yvette Smith. She says, I am confused on the timeline when all of this takes place. What happens first? Disclosure, solar flash, RV, ascension, rapture. Will those who are not awake ascend? Is Trump stopping the Antichrist? Good questions. So many questions. Let me start with the first one. It's like the question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's probably when the bifurcation of timelines takes place, the splitting from the positive Earth and the negative Earth. I believe that's when we're going to have disclosure, RV activation, ascension, and all the things that are going to lead into the golden age or the millennium. Okay. So that's happening in the positive timeline. So yeah, I do believe that the solar flash is going to ignite that, or that separation from the negative timeline. Absolutely. Good question, Yvette. And now those who are not awake ascend. Well, even if those that are not awake are not ready to ascend, they will be going at least to what is known as the 4D Earth timeline. Okay, they just won't have superpowers. Their lifespan will increase 200 to 300 years, but they will still be mortal. Okay, whereas for those that go into the 50 timeline or 50 New Earth and above, right, the millennium, you're going to have what is known as ascended abilities, superpowers. Okay, so everyone has the same 12-dimensional monad. This is a question from Time Mankey. Yes. Yes, everyone, whether you are an old soul or a young soul, you all have the capacity to evolve back into the 12th dimension, which is the true meaning of Christ consciousness, right? It goes beyond fifth, guys, right? We're not just going into the fifth. We're slowly but surely ascending all the way back to the 12th. So if we live 200 years old, this is a question from MJF. Does that mean we age slower? Yes, that's true. We age slower. Can you explain some of the differentiations amongst clones, doubles, and NPCs? So the clones are people that kind of like a printing machine. They clone your DNA to create a new body, right? So clones still have souls, but the more you clone them, the less they lose their soul. Okay, that's what happened to the Greys. The Greys used to be human millions of years ago. So that's what a clone is. It is a carbon copy of the original, but yet still is able to carry consciousness and a soul. Doubles are actors, right? They put on synthetic mask and they mimic the voice of the person that they're mimicking. So those are doubles or actors, and Trump has a few. And then NPCs are inorganic people, right? They just don't have a soul. They are people that are generated by the negative AI matrix. What do you have to do to be 12D? This is a very good question from Nathan Taylor. You have to live accordingly to the laws of the universal oneness, which is the laws of the one. All right. These are universal spiritual laws that as we ascend beyond the fifth, we have to abide by. So again, we reach higher levels of consciousness beyond the fifth as we partake and we continue ascending into the original monad, which is what we are at the highest level of reality, which means that's what your God self is. Your God self is the monad. It is you operating from the 12D. Okay, that's your God self. And how do we access our God self? Through Christ consciousness. And that's what Jesus came to demonstrate 2,000 years ago. What is an Earth Terran? Good question. Joe Barker is asking, what is an Earth Terran? An Earth Terran is a young soul, the younger souls. Those are the souls that started their evolution from the bottom up. They started their life as a single cell. Well, first they became the consciousness of a mineral, and then the consciousness of a plant, and then they graduated to the consciousness of an animal, and then they graduated to the consciousness of a Homo erectus, Neanderthal, and then Homo sapiens sapien. Those are the younger souls. Okay, and I guess in that respect, and when Enki fused genetics from the older souls, the descending souls, and the younger primitive souls, he created a middle being or middle race, and that's what gave 87% or gave birth to 87% of the population. Okay, so the majority of Earth humans are younger souls. They did evolve from the animal kingdom. Okay. I have so many good questions. I don't even know which one to answer first. Let's see. I guess I'll just take one at a time. How do you know you're an old soul? This is a question from Indigo Star Zeno. Well, if you're an old soul, you obviously have inner wisdom. You're drawn to metaphysical knowledge. You're a critical thinker. You're a nonconformist, and you see things beyond the veil. Okay, which explains a lot of you guys. Right? You guys are nonconformist. You guys see through the BS of the deep state. So an old soul is also interested in the stars. They're interested in galactic information. They want to, they want to regain their memories of their true cosmic origin. So that's how you know whether you're a young soul or an old soul. A young soul is normally a person who has a herd's mentality. They just follow the flow. They follow the majority. They don't think for themselves. They don't have critical thinking. They just go with the flow. So that's another indicator to describe the young soul from the old soul. Good question. Ishmael, are the Law of One books infused with divine truth? This is a question from Paula Francis, and the answer to that is absolutely yes. Correct. These glasses are giving me a headache. Will you repeat what we missed? Please and thank you. Well, again, guys, if you guys watch this from the beginning, watch the replay. There will be no interference. Okay. Every time you watch the replay, right, there is no interference. Just make sure you guys watch this again. Today's presentation was packed with a lot of good information. What do you know about Hadaria? Well, the Hadarian race comes from the Hadar star system. They were refugees of Lyra, so they are humanoid. How do you know if someone is an NPC? Question from Jilly Bonds. Well, they have no energy signature. They have no chakras. They have no soul. So they're cold, right? You don't feel their aura. You don't feel their vibe. That's how you know they're an NPC. They're energy. They are no. The best way to say it is they don't have an energy signature. That's the best way to say it. Ishmael, explain about the death fleeing man mentioned in the book Revelation. This is a question from Ron Sefried, and that's more of a metaphor, which means that during the separation of the positive timeline and the negative timeline, the people that are in the positive timeline will not be experiencing death. All right, their bodies are going to be transformed, transfigured into their celestial bodies, which is the light body. So you will become immortalized. That's what that means, that we will not experience death. This is a transformation and transfiguration of our current earth body into celestial bodies. All right, guys, it's about that time. Don't forget to share this information with as many people as possible. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And again, my classes for July are up. I decided to keep a low price of $100 per course. Knowledge is power. Go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, and secure your spot. And don't forget to order your Folium product to take away all those metals, nanoparticulates, parasites, and radiation.
Protecting dragons. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get some ET mojo going.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this. We do have some questions coming in on the one that Tiffany's moderating, so that's great.
Wonderful.
And then I've got the BBS radio one up here. So hopefully we've got every avenue, but it's very important if you are watching on the Dolores Cannon Facebook page, you need to click on that and open it up. Don't comment down below the little thing. You got to click on it and open it up in the BBS radio. That's where I'm going to see your comments. And we've got a few people in here saying hello. And so, yay. Yeah, we got Lenny, we got Tracy, Harper, we've got Lucas, and then we've got a bunch from the other, we got Kelly and Venus and Adriana. So we got some people coming in. Ask your questions. Woo! I know this isn't streaming the way we want it to, but we'll get there. Okay, so fairy portals, you're recognizing the portals or fairies.
I'm recognizing the fairy energy, but fairy portals, tell us more about that, because one of the things I get to go do is on Sunday I'm going camping, and I get to be up in the forest in Oregon, which, they're gorgeous forests out there. And so we're going to be taking our bikes and riding some trails, but it's really fun because there are a lot of little fairy bubbles up there. And so when you're out there just you feel the difference if you're paying attention. It'll feel like, oh, this energy feels a little different than it did over there. But for me, it's just kind of like all of a sudden there's a knowing that there's this little portal or this gateway, if you will, into the other dimension, and that they can go back and forth in this area, or Weren't we on a trip and we went on something, and then you were like, this is a fairy portal? It feels like that. Seems like you said something.
It's a good chance that I do that a lot. So
yeah, and I'm trying to remember, I think that was the one we were out by Austin, and we were on that big hill, and we thought we were going to go over the whole thing. Quickly figured out.
Maybe that's something we should talk about, overachievers. Julia and I are not allowed on mountains.
We need to stay off of, especially those like stone hills.
Yeah, any stone, rock, mountain. We're not allowed anymore.
But that one ended up having what was it that Sarah experienced? She went into like beneath the earth, and it was like a base or something there, or into something.
Yeah, she felt like she went into the inner earth kind of a thing going on there. And really, Tiffany should be on here talking with us, because she was there to experience that with us too.
Yes, she was.
And Piper, you could bring your dog in too. But yeah, so sensing the different dimensions. And one of the things that has been a conversation more than like a session, but a conversation, is that more and more people are starting to get sensitive to that kind of stuff, or are realizing that kind of stuff, seeing it, that kind of thing, and remembering seeing it, or not doubting that feeling anymore. So they're really starting to remember. And those dreamy states, they've been asking to remember if they've been on a ship or in another dimension or something like that. And a lot of people are starting to remember those things, and it's kind of fun. But then they'll be like, so why am I having this happen and that happen? It's like, because you asked to remember.
You asked, exactly. And I was going to say, it's all you have to do is ask. I'd like to be aware. I'd like to remember. I'd like whatever. And then it will start happening. But I did the same thing. I said, I want to be aware. And then I started being aware when things were happening. I'm like, why am I awake right now? You wanted to be aware. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so, it'll start happening. And you'll be, why is this happening to me? You asked for it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of aware, somebody just sent me on Messenger, and it popped up. And so I was looking, going, oh, who's messaging? But they sent a picture of the sun with rings around it. And it's like, I always, when I'm looking at my own meditations or my own journey work, the sun is always a portal. It's like a hub for portals. And it's just kind of a neat thing. And then we're talking portals, and somebody sent me pictures.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Tiffany, are you able to watch the BBS radio page, or are you focusing on the restream?
I'm flipping through several pages.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
One that popped up, and I'm gonna it's not gonna be a verbatim because I lost it. I don't know why it's not working, but it said, "How do I attract Fae to my garden?"
Oh.
Yeah. You're the Fae expert, Tracy. And if we're, yeah,
Dance naked in the garden. Get out there. Get out there and dance naked. No. In my experience, people that have had the Fae come in or are very connected, one, you're probably from there.
Yeah.